All right. Welcome everyone. Welcome to another episode of Milanistas 360. It's been a while since I've led us in, so pardon me if I'm a bit rusty. But I'm glad to be announcing another great episode with two of the best co-hosts you could ever wish for ever, and that is Mr. Shane and Mr. Lab Gorilla. How you guys
Buongiorno,
doing?
buongiorno.
Hello.
How's your week been?
Yeah, man. I thought I made the mistake of thinking, oh, is there even going to need to be a pod this weekend because it's the international break? But because there's more drama than an episode of fucking Twin Peaks at the club at the moment. Yeah, it's never a dull moment. So I'm glad we're here. But how's your week been, Jan?
Brutal, mate. Absolutely brutal. Work-wise, it's like everything's ramping up. It feels like, as Christmas comes, everyone just wants to get all of that work out of the way. So it's just crazy at the moment. But on the other side, we watch an international game, Milan. There you go. Freudian slip. Italy versus Belgium. There's no Milan players on that pitch, actually. Which was quite interesting. I think Spalletti's starting to get a little bit of a handle on the players. I wish he left out Roma players because I think they're all garbage. But that's another point. But yeah, come on, let's get on with it. We didn't do the review of the game last week, so let's kick on with that. Why not?
Yeah, spot on. So I guess it's quite a bit to cover there, guys. So I guess Hosni, Lab, you both seen the fucking mess that it was. But essentially, guys, we lost. If you don't know, we lost to Fiorentina. So, who else but Adley scored a great goal, a rocket from outside the box, I believe.
Yeah,
If it
but you
wasn't,
you guessed it. You guessed Adley would score
I,
against us, man. So well
it
done
just
on that.
it would happen, man. It would
Yeah,
happen. Pulisic got one back with a great deft finish. It was kind of like a volley, just tapped it into the goal. That was in the 60th minute, and then of
yeah,
course, Tamori completely, fluffed these lines. Couldn't clear a ball it had an awkward bounce on it. Went up for the header, completely missed it. Which led to Goodmanson getting the match winner for Fiorentina in the 73rd minute. Also, on top of that, we did miss two penalties from two players that are not our designated penalty taker, which is Mr. Pulisic. So Theo missed, and of course, Tammy missed. So, yeah, we do have a lot to, I think, blame ourselves about. Essentially, we could have basically ran away with the 3 points, but we did not. Kudos to Fiorentina. They, showed more quality than us, I think, on the day. And just to finish off the game, Hernandez got sent off due to, was he kind of arguing with the match official?
apparently called him something unspeakable.
There you go. So,
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, John, so you were asking for images, right? So this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
essentially, yeah.
yeah. So let me just give you a little bit. I mean, several other podcasts have tried to review the game and given quite thorough comments on it. I'd say referee Luca Pareto gave Fiorentina a really a crap penalty kick after Theo's tackle, which basically I think brushed Dodo on the underside of his foot,
Yeah.
and there was nothing to it, dude. I literally saw replay after replay. I was never calling that a penalty, but Moise Keane, took a terrible penalty, and that was missed. On the Adley goal that he scored, mate, the guy took Pulisic for a fool. He literally just ran around him. It was almost as if he had a bee in his bonnet to really show what he could do. And Pulisic, I was like, I never thought I'd see Adley run away from anybody, guys. He's really, really slow, but his turn was very clean, very neat, and he listened to Fonseca and used his arms really well to keep Pulisic away from him. But that shot was pinpoint accurate. It literally, I think it hit the bottom, part of the post. So it just clipped there and in. You couldn't really have got round Manyan. I think a lot of people are also trying to blame Manyan for the goal, which I don't know. I think that was such an accurate goal.
Yeah, you can only do so much, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
when the shot is that good, I mean, for fuck's sake, it's about, you know, if a shot that good comes in, you know, I think the blame should start from someone else outside of the keeper at a certain point.
Exactly. And then the next point was that Luca Ranieri, wearing the armband, barged reindeers in the box before half time. And Theo Hernandez is like, I'm taking this. It's my birthday, by the way. It's my birthday. And David De Gea saved a penalty for the first time in how many years? He saved a penalty, right? We come out second half, we're putting a bit of a fight, and this is the goal that Pulisic scored, which was absolutely by the way, it was a Theo Hernandez cross from the match review that I looked at. But the finish, oh my God. I mean, part of me was thinking, was he trying to just get it back to the middle? Or was that actually an attempt at goal? I don't know, but incredible finish. If that's intentional, I think that could go down as one of the best goals of the season.
Yeah, I think you can just tell when a player is playing with that amount of confidence.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's on top form, and so he should be. Great player.
Okay, and then Keane booted Mattia Gabbia whilst trying to clear a corner. Now, at this point, this is like the big point here, is Fikayo Tomori jumped up quite high, grabbed the ball as it was falling out the sky with his hands to give it to his friend, Tammy Abraham, to take the penalty. I'm really happy that these two guys are good friends. Oh, so happy for them. It's all about them, isn't it? This AC Milan. We're there for pals to be playing around together. I looked up a little bit about their background because in the press here, it was said that... Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
Oh, that's weird because my video's just gone weird. In the press here, it was reported Chelsea duo screw up again. That's how it was reported in one newspaper. I thought, what is this? So Tammy Abraham and Fikayo Tomori have known each other and been in the same academy since the age of 8. So they're really good pals. That does not excuse what happened in that. Nevertheless, and this is, I think, a point that no other podcast has made, these are professional footballers, guys. Theo Hernandez has got a goal-scoring record, which matches Maldini's entire career, and Tammy Abraham is supposed to be a striker. Therefore, despite the fact that they should not have taken those penalties, they should have scored those penalties. They should have been able to put it in a place where a goalkeeper cannot get to it, instead of a lovely height for him. If he gets this to the right side, he can stop it. That's the thing that I think no other podcast has really mentioned, the fact that these are professional footballers and they can shoot the ball from, outside the box. I mean, for God's sake, Theo Hernandez scores screamers all the time. Yet he didn't score, and yet Abraham didn't score, which made everything look even worse. And I don't want blame to be put on Pulisic for this. Again, there's been comments in some media saying that he's very weak as a human being because he didn't stand up for himself to say, I'm Christian Pulisic, I am your most talented player, therefore let me take this penalty. No, I don't give that. I don't absolutely give that at all. I much rather say players should have far more respect for each other within our squad, and they should know who the designated penalty taker is, and then they should take it. And then the last thing I want to say is this red card. Guys, the match is over. I think we all know. There's a reason why Theo Hernandez starts every single game. It's because the coach has got no trust whatsoever in his sub. Okay? So, that being the case, why the hell did he lose his brain after full time? Yes, we lost the game. But why compound it by now? The penalty is apparently 2 games that he's going to be missing. And he's been fined, I think, by the club as well. So, yeah, that's my comments on that. I think the biggest things to take away from that is that Fonseca is a terrible manager. It's confirmed that again, that he has no control over these players. The players showed him absolute disrespect in the way they behaved, and they disrespected each other in not even the way the way Fikayo Tomori took that ball down and gave it to Tammy Abraham, literally leaving Pulisic to be like that schoolboy. You know, when you, I don't know if you've ever done this, you play five-a-side at school and you're the last kid that's picked, you know, make him feel like he's just garbage. Oh, and by the way, I think Fikayo Tomori jumped higher to catch that ball out of the sky than for that defensive header for the winning goal that Fiorentina scored, because their goalkeeper launched it from his area, and Fikayo Tomori kind of looked up at the sky and said, I don't know where that's going, and literally let it bounce straight over him, which led to the goal, right? Is it Gudmundsson to smash it home, as you've got written there? So there's so many things to unpack from that match, so many negatives to take from that match. A single game has given us the first 15 minutes of the show. So, yeah, Hasni, come on. Let's see what you've got to say about this.
Yeah, I just want to take us back to before the match. So we were riding, not really a high, but in the league, we were somewhat riding it a little bit. So we, ever since that derby, then we won the next game. So this should have really strung us up for 3 wins in 3 games in the league. So my take on it was and this relates to a few points in the match, is that there was a certain amount of confidence coming into this match. Fiorentina, I think the players also know, they know pushovers. But then we would be expected to actually win the game. And had we put those 2 penalties away, we would have won it 3-2, and that would have been a fair result. A decent opponent. We got the 3 points. We conceded, as we always do. But then we won it in the way that we tend to always win it. So breaking it down into what actually happened during the game, and I watched certain parts of the match because, the time is a bit ungodly for me, but I managed to catch a bit of it. The amount of this, and I'm zooming into the penalties, the amount of disrespect that the players are showing against the opponent, I think is ridiculous. It's like you could pass the ball to anyone. You could even give the ball to Fonseca to take the penalty and not know it is David De Gea in goal. Or I just pronounce that De Gea, maybe, in goal. He's not a terrible keeper by any means, by the way. But the fact that you can pass the ball, you take it. You're my friend, you take it and all that. And you make the right point there, John. These are professional players that should be putting away the penalties. But this isn't, I don't remember the name of the former Fiorentina goalkeeper. I think it's related or the brother to one of the other Serie A players at the time. Had it been that guy, then maybe, you can pass the ball around, but not giving it to the best guy or to the guy who the coach then designates as maybe this is the best guy, most informed that can put away this penalty. Because looking at the penalties, how it's taken, it's like, within diving distance, by the way. They're not putting up onto the top corner. I don't think they did. But it was saved by their keeper. And I also then question as well is there even a captain of the team? If you can let guys on the pitch make the decision for themselves, who is the captain? I mean, this is just about taking the penalties. How about everything else? No one knows. Everyone is fighting for themselves. And if I can see it from Tomori's perspective, and you're right, as you mentioned, John, they are friends from before. I'm sure on some level, Tomori wants the best for Tammy. They want the club to sign Tammy permanently and give him a good deal and get the goals up, win the team, and be that Chelsea duo that they have been since they were kids. But then you got another Chelsea player, Pulisic, who they all know very well. And yeah, you're right. Being shoved aside, you take your chances. You don't make them. You have to accept the responsibility. And I really hope for the next game that Fonseca pins it to them. Now, for the other elements of the game, and you're looking at the stats, and stats also reading some things to me as well. If you look at the stats, Fiorentina should not have won the game. Yeah, we had the more shots on target, we had the more possessions.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, we had more fouls, so maybe we were really pushing to take it, but that should have been 3 points. How is it that we can be on that high, winning the derby, taking it to the next team, and this should have been a easy 3 in a row for us. Let's put the Champions League aside, because we know that against those teams we just don't want to win, or I don't know, not interested to win. That should have been the 3 points we need to take us up to the top rung of that of the table and say that finally we are really in it. Now we're back into the mode where we again questioning the coach, how many more games has he left? We're like a downward spiral. We are so that line, that razor thin line that we have between the positive and negative is so thin. It takes a performance like this to really throw us back into the dumps again. And all the critics are going to come out. We just gave them the ammunition for it. So if you ask me about what happened before the game, positive, negative during the game, and we carry negativity until the next game as well because of what happened. It's really our story. Yeah? Nothing can get around it, and I don't care what Fonseca said about the game, but he had told them all that. I'm sorry, coach. No one gives a shit what you say. It's so obvious. No one's listening to you. You can complain as much as you want about the ref. Sorry, about the players who's doing what, but come the management decision, Zlatan and co and management are not firing any players. They're gonna fire his ass. I tell you that. And maybe there's also another way of saying that. Yeah, let this happen and let us see that whether we really truly have a coach or not. So Shane, I mean, just a bit of a.
He's gone too. There's something funny going on with the software. Can you hear me, Shane? All right.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You're clear, man. You're clear.
Okay. Because
something going on.
Sorry, guys. Something going on in the back end here.
Yeah.
Redbird coming up, hacking us, man.
Well, I think so.
To be honest, I don't need to add any more than what Gunnardi said and what Ray said because it sums up the current situation really well. So Gunnardi last week was fucking disastrous, and it was. There's no leadership yet because there's no leadership on the team. Gunnardi, outside of Murata and Moynihan, there's no leadership on this team. Tamori was awful, but he's been, to be honest, Tamori's been going down for a while, man.
Yeah, I think Shane, one of the things we said was that we hoped Milan would not lose to Fiorentina because the fan base would melt. The other thing that would happen was that the media would really put the foot in. And sure enough, as the days have gone on, day by day, the pressure's just built and they've been smashing us. And rumours have been coming out of so many other aspects, which we're going to discuss in a minute.
I just want to one last quick one because this pretty much completes my analysis of it then. And Ray is 100% correct on this. The result of Furlani and Moncada team building equals it's a toxic atmosphere, and it is. And to be honest, I think having someone like Ibrahimovic at the club is only adding to that.
Agreed.
So,
absolutely agreed.
Yeah. Sorry, John, you were saying, man?
No, I was just saying that, it's really demonstrated to us in one game. It encapsulated. I liked what Husney said about a razor's edge. We were going to be second place or collapsing back into the doldrums. If you look at the stats, we should have won that game. We had 2 penalties that we missed. The problem was the behavior around those penalties, Theo's behavior after the game. Everything showed that the manager has lost the players. Maybe he never had the players with him because they basically are doing whatever they feel like doing on the pitch and they don't seem to have any comeback to it. Are we going to have a little bit of a discussion on Fonseca, Shane, which is going to be pretty brief?
I think, to be honest, that leads us kind of quite well into the next section, which is the Fonseca post-game press conference.
I like Husney share away. So
waving goodbye.
He should be waving goodbye. But the big thing he said afterwards is, I just want to read a couple of comments to you because I had this up. I love football. I don't want to contribute to this circus. Everything was a penalty, and I'm not talking about things for or against. But football is not like that. I don't want to talk about refereeing. He doesn't want to talk about refereeing, but he says everything was a penalty. Now, the other thing he said, mi sento incazzato, which basically means I'm pissed off, right? It should never happen again. I told the players I'm angry. The penalty taker is Christian Pulisic. Well, you can tell the players whatever you want. They're not listening because they're doing whatever they want. To have 2 separate penalty takers come up and do what they want. To have Tomori have the gumption, I love that English word, to grab a ball out of the air and give it to his friend. What are we? And I've got to ask you the question. Do you really think that this would be happening if this management was not in place? If Maldini had been there, do you think these guys would dare to do that? These guys would get obliterated. They would be in fear of Maldini saying anything badly against them. in one game, we've encapsulated pretty much every single problem with the club. Yeah.
You know what,
you know
John?
what?
Yeah.
What interesting thing I would like to know, and of course anyone can speculate. When Fonseca told the players that he's pissed, I'm curious if any player said anything back to him. Like, so what? What are you gonna do? If you're pissed, you can fuck off as well. I mean, that could be a scene inside the dressing room, right? Players talking back to him, saying, "Yeah, what do you want us to do? Just get the hell out, then."
I generally think they don't even talk to him. He just says this stuff and they just go, whatever, you know? Look at the attitude on the pitch. Add this match to what happened during that drinking break. Just think about that for a minute. It all starts to tell you a pattern, which is no respect whatsoever for the manager, no respect whatsoever for decisions for designated penalty takers. By the way, my opinion, no respect for Pulisic. He is by far our hottest player at the moment. There's no denying that whatsoever. Look at the goals he's scoring, the frequency he's scoring, and the assists. Even for by the way, the US national team, he set up Musa for a goal, right? So he is doing an incredible job at the moment. He's on fire. To say to someone, okay, we've got a new guy that's just come in. He's on loan. He hasn't scored any. God, take it, mate, because I'm your buddy. No, that's unacceptable.
See, at a certain point, and I know Theo was fined. At a certain point, if someone is breaking protocol like that, I would like to think that Tamori, Tammy, and Theo, or well, Theo's already been fined. I'd like to think that Tamori and Tammy as well should be fined as well, right? Or potentially just Tamori, right? Because I could understand Tammy a bit because he wants to make an impression. He's new, there's all those emotions of wanting to be seen to be proactive, and I understand that. But surely the seniority of Tamori should kind of, that should be made an example about. That you should be fined. There's a game plan here, regardless if you respect the coach or not. There's an order for the penalty kicks.
That's a great point, Shane. That's a great point, Shane. And there's a rumor that Fonseca is thinking about dropping Tomori and Abraham for the next game. But the word today is that he's kind of thinking, oh crap, I don't like the options that exist otherwise.
See, this is the thing, man. We're going to cover this in a bit, which is like the multitude of early transfer rumors, but we're going to cover that later on. But yeah, this is a very scary situation because essentially we have a coach here who only trusts 14 players, out of a squad.
And we mentioned this last week. The fewest subs out of any top Italian manager, any top team in Italy. Fewest subs.
Well, you guys need to be. I think not just you guys, but everyone needs to be careful what they wish for, because previously we had a coach that only trusts one player, which is Krunic. Now we got.
I knew you'd find a way to say his name, man. I knew you'd find a way.
It went to shit when Krunic was sold. Forget Maldini going. As soon as Krunic went, it went to shit.
I mean, if anybody would wedge in the Krunic name, it would be Husney, wouldn't it? What a legend, man.
My muse.
I mean, can you imagine what Fonseca would do with a player like Krunic? I mean, come on, guys. It would be like undefeated.
Here we go. Please stop this. It's torture. It's torture. On the WhatsApp, these guys have been slaughtering me with Krunic jokes, honestly. Right.
Ballon d'Or, man.
Oh.
Should win it. Fahadino, nice to see you again, man. Yeah, so, okay, fuck Fonseca, honestly. I'm sorry, but yeah, mentally checked out on this guy.
Nice.
As much as I did try, and I did try. Okay, so, right, everyone listen very closely, John. The Theo rumours. Okay. Husney hasn't heard this either, so you're about to see his reaction live on camera, and it's going to be horrific. So here we go.
Right. So the first thing is something that everybody knows, which is in the media, there was a lot of talk that Theo has not been talking, and his agent has not been talking to Milan about renewal of his contract. See, Husney's just going, yeah, I know this. So the one thing I wanted to say, Manuel Garcia Quilon, which is his agent, Theo Hernandez's agent, has come out and said, actually, this rumor of the 8 million that he's asking for is absolute lies. We haven't spoken to the club in several months. We haven't put our wishes to them. We've said to them that Theo likes this place. He wants to stay at Milan and he wants to stay here. This rumor of the 8 million, according to his agent, is being released by someone else who's trying to make Theo look bad to the fan base. So that's one thing to say. The agent has said he was asked about whether the star would stick around even after his deal, which expires in 2026, even if his deal wasn't extended. And he says, I don't know what could happen in a year. He might stay, but then again, he might have to go if we don't come to terms. So that's the first point, which I just wanted to get out of the way, okay? That's the media feeding on our loss and putting the foot in. Now, do you remember the name Fabrizio Corona? Hasni, you and I had a really long pod talking about Fabrizio Corona, Fagioli, and Tonali, if you remember, many episodes, many moons ago. Fabrizio Corona is that paparazzo who really likes to be in the limelight and comes out with very, very vicious rumors. And I'm going to read it to you in Italian first, because this has just come out on his Telegram channel. La vita di Theo Hernandez desta preoccupazione, spesso viene associato a serate sfrenate in locali notturni ed è fuori controllo, però mi è giunto un video che è davvero inquietante. So, it says, Theo Hernandez's life is quite worrying. He spends many evenings in basically clubs, late at night, out of control. I have a video that is going to be very worrying. The next statement. So this is all from Fabrizio Corona's channel. This is not us saying it, because one thing I want to say, if it's not true, Theo Hernandez can absolutely sue Fabrizio Corona for defamation, okay? Because it would be. So, il calciatore era ubriaco e lo si vede colpire un pugno a una donna che è caduta a terra. La vittima ha poi sporto denuncia per violenza privata e il Milan ne ha conoscenza ma fa finta di nulla. Unfortunately, the translation for this is the player was drunk and he is seen in this video to punch a woman and she falls to the ground. The victim has denounced him to the police, but Milan knows about this and has done nothing about it. So this is Fabrizio Corona. Okay. Again, take it with a pinch of salt. If you remember, even on the whole betting issue, he said it was massively widespread. It hasn't turned out to be, from the looks of it. I'm hoping he's wrong. I'm hoping he goes to court for this. I'm hoping he's taken to justice for this. But for him to come out on his channel and say this directly to a player, what do you think of that, Hosni?
Behavior-wise, I am not surprised. So, for those who don't know, when they were in Perth, I had it, to a very reliable source that these players, in their own time, they tend to get pretty wild, not just with alcohol, but with gambling, women, as you would expect some players to maybe want to express or de-stress themselves. That part about, and I think she was a model, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, John. I don't know if the name has been revealed, but I did see that somewhere saying that she's not just any random girl, but she's someone that has a certain following. So if she were to, and she did initially say something, I will retract it if I recall some of the rumors. I don't know whether she was paid off, but maybe those were how the charges were dropped. But if you ask me on a ethical and the human side of it, I mean, he should get what's coming to him if he indeed is true. But on a the gameplay or the Game of Thrones angle behind it, if it's not true, then he should take action against this reporter. But this reporter was a photographer. He does have a bit of a rap for really, not say for creating or fabricating, maybe exaggerating is one thing, but he wouldn't do it with zero substance. So maybe there is something there, and that is something that could be one thing that might affect Theo, and maybe one of the things that can explain his behavior on the pitch. I don't condone this level of violence. It shouldn't happen. But yeah, I mean, what a bad time to have this sort of rumors circulating. We're not doing well on the pitch. He has a 2 match ban. His contract's up for renewal. By the way, he's captain, I think, on the during the Fiorentina match. So yeah, it's all these things just digging a hole even deeper, making things worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Shane?
think there are two separate things. So the case by the model, which I can't refer to the crime because we'll get smashed a new one by YouTube. The case from the model that was thrown out basically. It was false accusations, but this sounds like it's a new thing. It's separate.
Yeah.
So
Sounds different. Yeah.
so the
Okay,
model,
if it's separate, I didn't know it. This
yeah,
is
it
probably the
was,
first time. I thought it was linked to that case.
no. Um, so and you can imagine. I think. See, this is a bit concerning, right? So I can understand, especially if you're young, you're a young player, you're a young man, whatever, you're super fit, uh, you know, models, whatever, you're away. I get it, but at a certain point, you know, if you continue putting yourself in these situations where people can actually make up these things about you, then it's kind of very dumb of you, right? Because if this comes out and if it blows up, and this is following, you know, a thing that was thrown out in court due to lack of evidence, you'd wonder what the hell is going on here. It doesn't surprise me though. I think he has in his character because I kind of understand him a bit more than understand a lot of people because I think we're kind of similar. But that being said, yeah, it's not good. And if it is true, I mean, you can forget for Milan, but accusations like these, if they're found out to be correct, I mean, they destroy careers. Look at Robinho rather, right? Even though
Mm.
he was sentenced like after his career, essentially part of the reason why he left Man City and eventually us was there was accusations that were being made in the background that were very serious. So essentially, Theo's thrown away his career here if that's true, and it's a shame because he's a great player.
Mm.
Hi
I'd
Nathan, yeah,
say let's put a pinch of salt on it for now, guys, because Fabrizio Corona has openly admitted he's an Interista. If he said he had any information whatsoever on Inter players, he would never release it. So this guy actually has an agenda behind everything. He's also, as I think Hasni, you correctly said it, he expands some topics to a level that it should never reach. Smoke and fire, yeah, that's a point. That is a good point. I if there is video evidence, then potentially this will be seen at some point. But I just say watch out because I think that Corona is not an entirely innocent person himself. You remember he's been in jail for extortion in the past, so I
Can,
just say watch this space.
can I just add something to that, John? You know, this guy is an Interista. Then we had the case about Morata and the May also Interista. I mean,
Yeah.
what the hell is going on? It's like, are why are all these vultures wearing blue and black circling us like in this way? I mean, don't
Oh,
they have their own players to worry about?
that's an open goal, Husney. It's because they're snakes. Thank you very much. Thank you very
There you go.
much. You left me an open goal there. I stepped in. Unlike Tammy Abraham, you were the Tomori and I scored the goal. Thank you very much. Shane, it's a dad joke.
good,
Right.
appreciate it. All right, speaking of you know dad jokes and yeah, older people, I guess. All right, that's not a great segue. Fuck it, I've done it now. Uh, Mr. Scaroni. So, do you remember, guys, that this guy is actually our club president? You never see him at the end of games because he leaves around the 70th or 80th minute to escape the traffic. But yeah, this
Yeah.
guy, John, what's the news?
Okay, so his interview this week, and he has said the following. I've been president of Milan for more than 6 years. When I joined, we were receiving less than 180 million euros in revenues. Now we're getting more than 450 million. The economic point of view is very important, but it is only part of the success. If we don't win games, we don't go anywhere. These are two issues that depend on each other. The issue of economic sustainability is very important. Until some time ago, there were presidents like Berlusconi and Moratti who put millions into the club at the end of the season to put things right. Now the situation is different, and sustainability is fundamental. Okay, so just to make up a point here, the financial year ending 30th of June 2023, Milan recorded a positive net result of 4.1 million euros. That's it. Okay, so you're now making record profits. You've gone from 180 to 450 million, but you're having to run the club on such a fine line to kind of just break even, to kind of just make profit. And then you come out to the press and you say that we're wonderful. The other things he came out and said was that the San Donato project is going to have to take a back seat, really, because we spent 40 million on that. It looks more likely that we're going to be going with something near the San Siro with Inter. So I think a lot of the fans and the channels in Italy are basically saying we don't care one bit about what you're saying about 450 million profit from 180 million, because we're not seeing it on the pitch. And the other thing I just wanted to highlight, there is profit that can be made from financial success through winning games. That is, going quite far in the Champions League, for example. The final season that Maldini was there, we made the Champions League semi-final. Remember, we had huge revenues from the Champions League campaign. Then there are profits that are made from Dyson, Democratic Republic of Congo, whatever else I can't remember, or New York Yankees. They're completely separate entities. I think if you ask any fan, I'd rather make my profit from on-the-pitch success, mostly, and then that be boosted with marketing success. Not have a club that depends solely on marketing, because on the pitch, it cannot deliver. Shane, you go, take it.
So just had one quick thought, again, not to go back to another topic, but just on the Theo thing. If we no longer see Theo as a captain, we'll know at some point that what Corona said was true. So that's how we can know. Right, so on this, to be honest, John, one thing I didn't dislike about this guy up until what you've just said, I never disliked him that much because he never spoke bullshit. Because he was always talking about, being financially stable, we want to get to state and we want to do all these. And then essentially, he comes out with this thing saying, "Oh, we have to win games and we have to be competitive." But you're putting yourself out to be a lawyer now. It's just like the rest of them. And in fact, on the next segment, which obviously will complete this one, but the next segment, it will give you a bit of an in-depth look into what exactly management think of our current players and why they're just not good enough. But yeah, I'm putting this guy in the Fonseca boat. Fuck him. He's not even Redbird. He was bought in during the Elliott days. Maldini said it right about this guy. I mean, leaves 70th, 80th minute. He was the first piece of shit that came to collect the Serie A trophy, though. So fuck him.
He's the first one. Yeah. Awesome. Hasni, what have you got to say about the story?
Yeah, it's as most fans think, is that you just can't be concentrating on the revenues. You can't just be thinking about the money. You also got to worry about the performance of the pitch. So that one is spot on. But for him to say it now, is it like what? He's just woken up? Was he like in a coma all these years? So I don't know why he's making these statements. He just needs to shut the fuck up. And if he wants to really gain the trust of fans, or if he wants to stop the press or some other thing, he can do it through another way. Yeah? I mean, that's why we got Forlani, or Forlani just mute. I don't know what's going on. So he just needs to zip his mouth. Secondly, about the stadium thing. We've had pods about the stadium before, and we've highlighted the challenges. So the fact that what everything that we've been talking about, not just for the past few weeks, we're talking about like months and years, by the way. Uh, it's all coming as what people have expected. I don't know where the surprise is. This guy, he's being paid to do a job just focused on the stadium. It seems that he can't even do his job. His job is, what is the flavor of the day? So this is why I honestly don't see the need for him to be paid a single cent because he's absolutely not doing it. It's no way helpful for the club. And if someone, and as right, you mentioned Shane, if someone like Maldini can say something like that about this guy, I don't know why he's still at the club. What value does he then bring? But we've also had that part, and if I can just cross my mind again, that this guy essentially knows how to run clubs. I think he had a successful campaign, if I remember. I checked his CV and all that, but yeah, it's just no help at all. We are in a bad situation. Fans are not happy. We're not doing well on the pitch. No matter what anyone says, we should be challenging for the title, which we don't seem to be doing. Again, not helpful. So, if you ask me, this guy, someone should just give him like a gag order, or Jerry or Zlatan, you step in and say that Scolari, just shut the fuck up, just take the money, just take the salary, just keep quiet, because other than that, he's doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, so just as you guys know, right, I'm a huge lover of anything to do with puns. So let's talk Milan. Paolo Stadioni.
That's a good one. Paolo Stadioni. That's very good. Very good.
Genius.
That's your stick.
That's it. I'm done now. I think we've completed the pod, guys. No, that's all I wanted. Yeah. I don't know. John, what's your thoughts of this fucking mouthpiece?
Unfortunately, okay. I just got to kind of ask everyone, do you care for a €4 million profit at the end of the season if it comes at the cost of having dumbass players who are behaving that way, a dumbass manager who doesn't control them? Who cares? I mean, seriously, who cares? This is the thing, is like, hang on a minute. If the way we're playing, we're only making 4 million profit, can you understand why on the transfer window we can't splash? Because they're literally saying, okay, we're going to do a surgical precision addition to the squad this season. We're going to be surgical about it. And then Morata comes in. And then Tammy Abraham comes in almost the last day. 2 months and we get to Chicken Royale with Mayo, who for 15 million is the greatest donation ever made to anybody. When you think about that, then you really kind of go, okay, 4 million profit off the back of behaving that way with the club. I don't want it. I'd much rather, this is the thing. It's like, this is the business case. They're preparing a business case to say this club has been profitable for the last few years, irrespective of wins. Like, this guy's talking absolute garbage, saying, now on the pitch we have to deliver. With what exactly? With Fonseca? A guy who can't even tell his players who the penalty taker is? They won't even listen to him? A guy who can't even get his players to come over when he's having a conversation with them with the drinks? We're not going anywhere, guys, with this. And Scaroni's words are just absolute BS. On the stadium, my opinion, smokescreen, smokescreen, smokescreen. All about business plan. Trying to say we've got a location so that someone will come in. This is all linked to the fact that you're trying to make the club look valuable to a potential new buyer, but you have not found that buyer, and you're starting to brown your pants because next year is when that Elliott money needs to be found. So keep saying what you want, Scaroni. Nothing's happening. Oh, Art is here. Look at that. Hello, Art. How you doing?
That's Art. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice to see you, Art. Didn't realize that was Art. Okay.
Yeah, I recognize the picture. I've now seen him. Met him. He's in London.
There's one thing, guys, that I want to add, and I think it needs to be said, really, is that, yes, I will not belittle it to more than double your revenues over a few years. I think that's good business-wise, so There's probably something valuable in that. But I also want to put that into context. I don't know for which year that they're reporting it, but I think to get to that level, last year we finished second. Our Champions League campaign, not at all great, yeah? Not far from great, far from great, far from decent actually. How are we going to do this year? So if that second place finish and getting into Europa got us into 4 million, what's it going to look like this season? I honestly don't think we are. Okay, I know this is probably like kicking the club a little bit. I find it very difficult to see us winning the league, and I find it also very difficult to see us finishing second because of what's happening to other clubs as well.
I find it difficult that we're going to make profit this year.
Yeah.
Unless DRC are going to give us 50 million to say go on holiday to a interesting location. Let's say that. I don't see it.
And to compound that, I'm also thinking from this perspective because in matters of how then we reinvest into the club, we need to have players that we can, that have some value that you can actually sell and hopefully reinvest back into the club. So, again, putting all this into the big picture, our Futuro is not doing well.
No.
Our Primavera, I think it's not too bad, but yeah, I wouldn't say we can really flip a lot of players for big money. So we have so many issues on so many fronts. It's going to get even more difficult. So if this guy is saying that this Stadoni guy is then saying that yeah, there's a lot of good things and they also need to be balanced. We are so off balance. Yeah, I mean, is again having that left wing, right wing issue that we had with the team, but on a now much bigger scale. How then are we gonna really look at or do things? Now, we said it earlier in the pod. Pick the same player. Fonseca picks the same players. Our Futuro is going down the drain. He was supposed to be the guy to connect both teams together and to really to be a pipeline. So maybe we would have to be playing a lot of the youth players who ideally might be able to live up to a first team standard. Maybe not against the top 4 candidates, but maybe to play against the lower tiered side. So it's an issue, and I also want to add, and I guess I will also confess that I have a bit of a soft spot for Adli, because I think he really fought for the club when he was still with us. When we have these players leave and score against us, it shows that they're also not bad players. So again, back to the management and how then we run things. If we want to be a profitable club, if we want investors to come in, every other move that this club makes is contrary to that objective as well. So yeah, it's again digging the hole even deeper.
Yeah, great points. The objective, and also on the comments, some great points there. You're talking about success on the pitch, and you've got the moment Morata comes off, you put on Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I mean, what is that? Is that showing ambition? Seriously, when you can see that there are players who are failing, you get that ambition, and then giving Jovic the number 9 shirt. I mean, there's literally a litany of bad decisions that have been made, and I think, guys, in the future we're gonna have a serious discussion about Moncada and his role in this, because I think more and more fans are waking up to the fact that this dude is watching. He's not doing it, Shane. And he was there at the Belgium-Italy game. I don't think for 1 second he was there to look at Ricci. Don't think for 1 second.
No. And that, actually, in terms of what he was looking at, we can kind of dig into that now. But just echo kind of especially what you just mentioned there, John. Great comment, especially from Ray. Precision and surgical while we give away our cam in Daniel Maldini. Why the fuck would we want a Maldini at the club? And still have Loftus-Cheek starting. Yeah. John, they even got most of the signings wrong. And that's a waste of money. They got all of the signings wrong, except for, I have to say, I do like Morata. I do like Tammy. And of course Pulisic, which is out of this world, and we're very lucky to have him. I think he's too high a quality for a team like us, to be honest, these days. But it is what it is. Most of the other signings, though, guys, that they've lowered the quality of the squad.
Yeah.
It's been the way it is. Uh, Mr. Art, if they just want more money, they've chosen the wrong business. I think they're finding that out now, Art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a screwed up business model that they came up with. What a stupid business model. I think I was listening to Max Lombardia show saying that they're now got a hot dog stand at the San Siro. I mean, why hot dogs in Italy? I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I can't.
It's happening,
I just
John.
like I don't.
It's the new
We're not
reality,
in New
John.
York. We're not in New York.
You can,
You
and
know
if
what
you
it's
think
like?
that's
It's like
bad,
they spoke to the Yankees. Yankees had a good deal on saying that, oh, take our old hot dogs. You can't sell them here. How about you sell them
Yeah.
over there?
wait for a Starbucks to be built outside the new stadium, John.
No, just that. Hey, certain things just won't happen, man.
Okay, all right.
Oh,
Last one. Need to be patient with our Futuro team since this is the first season they played. Yeah, just see for another season. Yeah, no, Gunnar the eight. I think this is. Yeah, I think the patience thing is okay for the Futuro. We get it. It is what it is. They're still kids playing against older men. But at a certain point, I think it's more so that it's like we're running out of patience with everything else, and the Futuro is another problem.
but you know what you do, Shane? You know what you do is you
Support
get rid
Monza,
of
guys.
Abate. You get rid of Abate and you put Bonera in place in
That's
charge
it.
of the Futuro team. That's a genius move, mate. Genius.
That's it.
Yeah, and I just respond to Gurnardi, and yeah, you're right. We will be patient, of course, because we primarily don't have a choice really. But setting that team up and where they are in the league standing, I don't think it's helping the players really. We have good players there, We have Bartazagi who can score a goal. Jimenez, I think Jimenez scored a goal, if I'm not mistaken. But I need to look that up. So we have decent players there, but I find it very difficult to. I'm not putting the expectation that they should win the league, but they shouldn't be at the bottom either. So that's what worries me. And yeah, you guys are right. Bonera is not the right sort of person to really merge these two teams or really create that gateway. I think that's a mistake. But yeah, that's how the management wants to keep it.
Fuck. So this is the worrying thing because I'm sure it was Let's Talk Milan, right? Had a premonition last week and said Adley's going to score. He's going to score, right? And I'm having a deja vu moment where I'm looking at one of Let's Talk Milan's posts and I'm going, "Fuck, it's actually going to happen now," and it's this one. Another while we'll see a stage group between us. Beyonce Snoop
Yeah.
Dogg to perform. It's gonna fucking happen, man.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Fahadinho also said about Adley anyway, but yeah. Halftime shows like that, yeah.
That's also shout out defensive dynamo Nico. Sorry, man, you've had a load of good comments as well. It's just been trying to get through all of them, but the top comment for me is Sonoran Mexican hot dogs are way better.
Never
I'll
heard
take
of
it.
them.
Send me one over, man. I'd love to
Yeah,
have one.
yeah. In a normal mail.
in a normal mail, I'll get it. Anyway, so one last quick bit that I wanted to cover, right? So I think indirectly this actually tells you about, just how bad we are doing in terms of the overall depth of the squad and the lack of quality of the players that we have. So I'm just going to read to you, right? This is from the last week, by the way, right, of quote unquote transfer rumors. And I know a transfer rumor is a rumor, we can, never end up buying the player. But even to say that there's this frequency of the transfer rumors, and when they're looking at targeted areas, it tells you, all you need to know, and it's concerning. So rumor number one, Calabria is out. They're looking to, which I'm delighted about. I'm sorry, Nathan. I'm sorry. I can't get on the Calabria train. I hate the guy. So Calabria is going, and they're going to replace him with Thiago Santos from Lille. Which, to be honest, I mean, look, who the fuck watches
why
the
not go
French
to
league,
France again? Let's go to France again, Shane.
I know, to be fair, right? Look, who watches the French league, right? But I think Nico had a lot of
Moncada.
positive things to say about this guy. Or Moncada does,
Yeah.
yeah.
Moncada's got a lifetime subscription to the French league and nothing else.
That's
He
it.
doesn't know that Italian players exist.
That's it. So we don't need Italian players.
Who does?
We're not an Italian club anymore. We're American.
Well, we're not. We're French.
French. That's true.
French American.
And then they're looking at Genoa midfielder Morten Frendrup, Danish international, and apparently they're looking at getting him in because they're very concerned. They think essentially that this latest injury for Benacer has crippled him, and he's no longer going to be able to play up to the level that we need. So they're going to be looking to replace him.
Can I ask something on that point? What is going on with Musa? Is he not playing for us? Is he not on the team anymore? Why are we buying players with the existing guys? I don't know what we're doing with them. It puzzles me, really. It puzzles me.
The thing is, I think what's interesting for me, and this is in a weird way, it does make me respect Fonseca a bit. It's the fact that he's using the same players, right? And basically that tells me that the other players that he's not using are just complete dog shit. So
he's letting everyone know that way, is he?
Yeah, I'll give him a bit of credit. At least he's been consistent.
But at least he comes out to the press and keeps saying Jovic will be really important for us for this season. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is really important as a central defensive midfielder, but also an attacking midfielder.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just so he says things that are completely out of context. Like they're so wrong. And then his behavior in not selecting them shows his true feelings because he's just afraid.
True. And then, so we have a guy called Skov Olsen from the European heavyweights that are Bruges. He's a right winger. He's a 24-year-old Danish international, and apparently he's being touted because they're already looking to replace Chukwueze.
Well, Moncada will be able to scout him when we play them in the Champions League next, isn't it?
That's it. And
brilliant. Save money in scouting.
This is it. And speaking of your earlier story, John, about Theo, and why I'm thinking it's probably, when I look at stuff like this, it's leaning more towards likelihood that it's true when you look at everything in the context, right? So apparently Moncada has been busy again, and there was a reason why he was at the Belgium game. For Belgium and Italy, right? Not to look at any Italians, of course, but he was looking at Maxime de Kuyper. He's a left back, plays for Bruges, but he's also the starting left back for Belgium.
That's a great name, Maximum Creeper. I want one of those.
Maxime de Kuyper. But so here's the scary thing. Apparently, he's being looked at not as a deputy to Theo. It is his replacement.
Wonderful.
Okay, so we're selling Theo. I don't know for how much. Probably the valuation is going to be lower. We're going to get scammed again, though.
Yeah, and apparently this is what Listen, I know how a structure works. Of a contract. The amount that you pay for a player gets less and less and less based on the less time that's left on the contract, right?
Yeah.
However, like they were quoting prices for like 50 to 60 million for Theo, right? And if I look at it that way, I was going like, he's still one of the best in the world. If this was, I don't know, Man United, as bad as they are, right, or Arsenal, and if they were selling a player, it'd be like 2 or 3 times that amount. So
Shane, if we were Juventus, it'd be 2-3 times that amount.
Easily.
Don't have to look abroad even. Honestly.
No, there's literally getting money out of players is not something that we can do. Like when you're letting, and I couldn't give a fuck about the Fiorentina game or anything else, right? I still say he's one of the top 3 in the world. And if you're selling the top 3 in the world in any position, and you're selling them even with 1 year left on their contract, and you're not kicking off a bidding war from the likes of PSG or Real Madrid or fucking whoever else, right? You have a fucking problem. It's just the mismanagement of the player at that point.
Yeah, and you're right. And I just want to add one fact. It's like it's not just Man United and those sort of clubs that can come at the high value. Atalanta do it all the time, you know.
all the time.
And they're not even a competitive club. They can sell like I don't know who was it, Hoyland, I think, for like over 60 million.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Coop Miners to Juventus. Look how much they sold him for.
Yep. And consistently doing it, by the way. It's kind of like it's a known thing that, to get players out of Atalanta, you have to pay them a good sum. To get them out of Milan, you just literally wait for their contracts to expire and then redeem them for free the following year.
I'll tell you honestly. Should we at some point in the future we'll do a dossier of the transfer dealings that in the last 2 years have happened, and it's almost going to be hilarious. If it wasn't our club, it would be hilarious. I am not going to talk about Kalulu now, but Jesus Christ, we're helping those guys out. And the next rumor is that why don't we give him Gabia? Because they need a central defender.
Yeah, and apparently Tomori was floated around as Juventus were kind of looking at him as well.
They're not stupid enough to buy him, though.
No, but also...
Oh,
yeah. Sorry.
The one transfer that really pisses me off? Why did no one make an effort for Chiesa?
Too old. And he's Italian, wasn't he?
Moneyball.
Yeah, they're all...
Money,
give him to Liverpool. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It was his wages, I think that was the problem at the time. They just won't stand for what he was asking, apparently. But this is the other thing about Theo. The fact that his agent had to come out to the press and say, listen, don't start to get angry at Theo for asking for 8 million. He's not asked for 8 million. That's not true. We have not asked Milan for this. Someone's releasing information to the press to make the fan base hate Theo for a reason. And that was the fact that his agent had to come out and say that speaks volumes, because he's basically saying someone within the club is trying to hijack Theo remaining.
I think there is a reason why nothing is ever broadcast about Inter, as negative as things go. However, as soon as there's an option for us, right, it's literally everything is just completely blown out the water. And it's awful. I don't know if it's a coincidence, but I find it funny that Inter never get you rarely hear about what's happening inside an Inter, right? And then whereas us all the time you do. And for me, that would only make sense if it's I can't really say something like that because it'll sound like a conspiracy theorist, but this happens too often.
Yeah, I mean, when Inter collapsed under the weight of what was the name, Suning or whatever, and Oak Tree took over. You heard nothing.
I heard nothing.
They collapsed. Everyone was writing at them saying, "Oh, there'll be the end of Inter. They got no one to turn to. They're gonna refinance. Maybe you could sell all every player that they have."
Yeah,
never happened.
Whilst we're in profit. Well done, guys. Well done.
Yeah. Martinez getting it is Martinez, isn't it? Yeah. I always forget his name.
Lautaro renewed.
Lautaro, yeah. He renewed. God. What's that fucking arsehole? The midfielder. He renewed.
Barella.
Yeah, that's it. So he renewed.
Yeah, and they brought in Taremi. Our targets, they're just picking them up.
Just like Thuram.
Thuram, yeah.
And speaking of Inter targets, so apparently Inter are looking at Maldini.
Yeah, that will be. Oh, thanks, guys, for mentioning that. So many people on X saying there's no way that Milan will let Maldini go to Inter. Like, are you guys drunk? Anyone on X saying that? You guys actually drunk?
You do realize this is the same ownership that did what they did to a club legend. Why the fuck would they give a fuck about his son?
Exactly. Shame. Yes. I'm like, you guys are drunk. Like Pellegatti comes out. I know the guy's broken these days, but you're like, no. There's no way it's going to happen. We're going to claim him back and buy him back. I'm like, no, you're not. These guys don't care. As long as they're around, that will be an open door for him to go. Yeah. Exactly. Carmelo, well done. Yeah, it's true. It's just a fact.
This one second. let's talk Milan, right? This literally says it all. Inter's football people in management, not like us. There we go. And they have a
Yeah,
sporting director.
yeah. Gazzetta dello Sport is the most inter-biased paper there is, but unfortunately, it's also one of the ones I read the most.
Yeah,
Okay.
fucking honestly, yeah. Honest, to be quite honest, right? And I mean this with the greatest will in the world, right? As I read this club, I know all of us do. I know everyone watching at home. I know we all love the club, right? But at a certain fucking point, I mean, you know, the writing's really on the wall. If let's just say all this bullshit about Theo isn't correct, right? And he can potentially, he still has another good maybe 6-7 years in his legs, right? And to potentially just maintain a high level of playing, right? And it's if we sell him, um, you know, you know, at a certain point, we're fucked, right? It's going to be 10 years of waiting for the stadium, and you know,
Stadium. Oh God, here we
getting
go.
getting to the Europa League final is going to be great for us because it's like, oh, we never seen this happening. And at a
No
certain point,
chance of getting to Europa League final. No chance, Shane.
Guys,
but
imagine this, what happens if Theo were to leave and they renew Calabria and they put him off left back. Can you imagine
Hasney.
Emerson
Hasney's now
Real and
playing.
Calabria?
Hasney's now
football
playing mind
manager.
games.
He's playing
He's like
football
popping
manager. That's
grenades.
that's a football manager
What
I
what
wouldn't
special.
be
is that?
surprised.
That
I wouldn't be
suggestion?
surprised.
Well, imagine they sold Theo for 50 million to a direct competitor, and they brought in 3 players for the
Yep.
money. Imagine that, because that's more like their MO. They would love to do that. Just wanted to mention one thing. Our game is next Saturday, 5 p.m. UK time against Udinese. We're playing at home. Be interesting to see what the lineup is, guys, because several players should be punished. So, as we said, Tomori,
Yep.
Abraham, Hernandez will not be available. So, who will be there? Who will be captain? I've no idea.
Mhm.
It's going to be quite interesting to see that game. I think on our next podcast, which maybe will be next Sunday, um, we will have a lot to talk about.
Maybe Fonseca's last game?
No, no.
Oh, he needs another
Fun
barbecue.
fact, actually. This is one last thing I want to say, right? And this is again, it's the final nail in the coffin, right, for the Redbird apologists, right? Because all the excuses they had for Redbird have just gone because Redbird have essentially did everything, even worse than previous people did. But I love this thing about the Redbird apologists when they said that, well, look, Maldini got in Gianpaolo, right? So and then he fired him, like he took too long to fire him, whatever. Da, da, da. So it's like he made the mistake of bringing him in, and then he took too long to fire him, right?
7
So
matches.
7 matches. So after 7 matches, right, Gianpaolo he had more points than Fonseca has.
Really?
With that team.
Yeah.
There's another thing
With
there.
that team.
Yeah.
Did he really have more points? Wow.
So for the last 10 years, right, Fonseca has the lowest amount of points. It's like 1.22 points. For the last 10 years of any Milan manager, he's the lowest. So
Yeah, I've seen people try and explain that that points average is down to the fact that we played against Leverkusen and Liverpool because it includes all of the matches. I'm like, come on, wake up. Wake the hell up, man. You're in denial. In fact, here we go again with my joke. People saying that are Egyptian fish. Living in denial. Thank you.
living in denial, man. No, honestly, I mean, it's fucking horrific at this point. Like, I think they'll start championing Forlani and coach. Like, look, we don't even have Italian players. Look how fucking look how multinational we are now, guys. We don't even have Italian players. It'll be some sort of badge of honor for these fucking idiots. But anyway, yeah, and I don't mean this about AC Milan, the entity. I mean this about the club now and the way it is. Fuck this club. Seriously.
Yeah.
because and it is not the club and not the great history, but the club being what it is now. Fuck it, you know. There's nothing likable about it. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Right, that's a great finish, isn't it?
Yeah.
Come on, Husney, say something positive with your Darth Cronicious.
Nah, nothing positive to say. Every, this was the season to really prove a lot of people wrong. So last season, yeah, everyone, the apologists especially, made a big thing about how, yeah, recovering from Maldini's mistakes and all that. Excuses have dried up a long time ago, whoever those people are. So what we're seeing now is how it's going to be, not only for the remainder of the season, but how it's going to be for the foreseeable future. These sort of mistakes are fundamental. This is the thing that we've been speaking about on this pod, several other pods as well. Fundamental issues that's really dragging the club down. As long as it's the same structure that's holding that all those mistakes, generating the same mistakes, it's not going to change. We're just going to slide down worse. Then it's also become linking back to the news before the derby and before the positivity of that win. Who are the managers that are going to step in? Shane and I were on the same in another chat. Someone mentioned Sari. Oh, what the hell, These names, we're strapped for names as well. But as we know, whichever manager of a decent caliber that could probably create results out of the players and the the theme around the club. The manager, we're not going to go for him. We're just going to get someone second grade. Who knows? Bonera might be promoted to the first team manager. All these mistakes, it's all in the pipeline.
Wow.
So I'm sorry, John. I got nothing positive to add.
Right. So it was left to me last week to lose money on Milan against Fiorentina. I was the idiot. I actually said Abraham and Pulisic would score. I got one of those right. But Abraham, he had his chance. He didn't put it away. Yeah, so are we going to beat Udinese? Honestly, guys, I have no idea.
Well,
Who's
we
the
should,
right manager?
but we should have beaten Fiorentina as well.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying is, are we going to beat Udinese? I don't know. Are we going to beat Club Brugge? I don't know. From now on, my answer is going to be, I don't know. I'm going to go back to backing the way I usually back, draws and losses. And the other thing to say here, whatever manager we bring in, at this point, I don't care, as long as it's someone who can bring back that respect that the players need to have for the club and for each other. I just don't know if there's anyone out there who's got that fear factor about them to make players not, kind of make their own decisions in the way they are on the pitch at the moment. It's really, really poor watching players behave that way because we're AC Milan. We're not a stupid little club. We're a giant, and we have to start to behave that way. As you said, Husney, excuses have gone. There is no way back for this ownership now. There's no way back. I think, they've literally dragged year on year on year this profit story. They've dragged it. But the reality bites because unless you've got wins on the pitch, you can't possibly keep making profit. You can't keep selling jersey. Who's going to buy a jersey now? Honestly, what name do you want on the back? Actually, what name do you want on the back, guys? If you had to buy a player that you think is going to stick around. I would have bought the Tonali shirt a few seasons ago. Would never thought he would leave.
I had the signed version.
Jesus.
At the jersey before that, who I had the signed version? Donnarumma.
God, I thought you were going to say Krunic, mate. But again,
no.
no. But Donnarumma makes sense.
Ballon d'Or edition.
Donnarumma makes sense. Tonali makes sense. You would never think that those guys would leave because you think the whole future would be based on them. And now you look at the squad. Honestly, I think all of them are up for sale. All of them.
But if you had to bet, it would probably have to be Gabbia, by the way. If you wanted to get a player that might stick around longest, it might be Gabbia.
Maybe Gabbia. Maybe. Don't know. Depends if Juve need a player.
That's it. Cardinale is doing his bit to make sure Serie A stays competitive.
Oh, let's do our job for Nico as well. He's been releasing a hell of a lot of tunes on the channel. Check them out, guys, because I'm a slightly older guy, so I don't count. I want your opinions. Your opinions on his hip hop tunes. I think they're really, really good, but I
Yeah,
want
a
to hear
lot
what
of
other people
quality
think
work
of them.
there, man. Kudos to
Yeah.
Nico on that. Check him
Yeah.
out as a section on our channel. There should just have all the songs in it that have been generated. Nico's been very active in it. He's got some fucking winners as well there, to be honest. All
Yeah.
Milan centric. So yeah, it's definitely some stuff there for you.
I will never buy Tomori's jersey, Carmelo. Let your friends take penalty kicks. Yeah.
Yeah.
God. The fact that he jumped so high to grab that ball out of the air, and then when it was actually his turn to defend, he just went, like a seal.
Bless you, Tomori. Fucking.
He used his last good jump.
He did. That was it now.
Yeah.
That's it now. Off to Juventus with you, Tomori. And the worst thing is they'll probably turn him into like, a world-class level player. Because that's how it goes.
It's better manager, isn't it?
That's it.
Cool.
And it's they have a club. They do have a project. They'll go up or down, but you can tell where they're trying to get to. Whereas I don't think we can really say the same.
No, I got no idea what the direction is anymore. I don't. No. I think I'll admit it, I was so fooled by the preseason. I'm one of the ones that kind of went, oh, this looks good. I feel so... And the thing is, as I said, I've watched so many Milan squads over the years. For me to fall for that shows how naive I am as well, actually. But after seeing the games now, you can only say what you see in front of your eyes, and there's no plan there, guys. There's none. No.
Just a quick one, just to plug it one last time before we wrap up. So, Nico's awesome work. It's Rossoneri Rhythms, Anthems of Milan. So that's just a separate playlist there on the channel. So check it out, guys. There's going to be stuff in there that you're going to like. Fuck this club, currently. Fuck this ownership. Fuck Fonseca. Fuck, I don't know who else. Scaroni. Forza Krunic. All right, fuck it. I'm out. I need to get something.
Fuck the hot dogs.
Yeah.
Bravo. Ciao tutti.
Yeah. See you all next week, gents.